Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to episode 53 of the Seezus Show. Wow. First time going to video. I'm pretty excited. So hope you guys enjoy, a little bit of experimentation. You know what I'm saying? Once you watch this episode, if you have any input, any advice, I'm open to constructive criticism. And I'm excited. But yeah, just to recap, you guys, Trey wasn't here in a while. He was on episode 51. This is episode 53 now. On episode 52, I have my boy Coop from Newport News. He started this one thing called Coop Hoops. You guys should definitely check out my last post in regards to my last episode. He's doing big things out there. But we were discussing the NBA Finals, and it went pretty good. So I was right. I said the Raptors will win in 6, so that was exciting. Should have bet him. And I'm still waiting on my line from someone to the left of me right now. But we'll talk about that later. But yeah, let's get to it, man. It's been a lit finals. A lot of things have been going on. A lot of trades have been going on. Just a lot has been going on. So without further ado, I have Trey returning for episode 53. So ladies and gentlemen, make some noise for my co-host, my boy Trey.
Yo, you already know what's going on. You already know what's going on. Episode 53. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if I really want to serenade y'all right now. I'm gonna wait on it. I got the lyrics pulled up and everything. But I'm gonna wait on it. But I'm glad to be back. We on video. Let's
on video.
go.
We're definitely on video.
Let's go.
We're really out here. So
Yeah, nah.
cheers. Red wine, by the way. Gotta rock with red wine.
No matter what's in my cup, it's in my cup. You.
Cool. So, first thing I want to talk about is this finals recap. Like I said, Raptors in 6, been saying it all year long. Raptors. So excited. They ended up winning the series 4-2. It was crazy. The Warriors didn't win any games in Oracle. And just going into it, I knew that there was a possibility that KD wasn't going to play. You feel me? And I knew there was a possibility that, the Raptors are just more battle tested. You know what I'm saying? They went through one of the best teams from the 5 through the 8th seed, I would say, in the Orlando Magic. And I'm pretty sure the Orlando Magic had the best record in the East or maybe overall after All-Star break. So they were pretty competitive. And then after that, they went to the second round. You can argue they faced the legit best starting 5 in the East in the 76ers with Joel Embiid, Tobias Harris, J.J. Redick, Jimmy Butler, Ben Simmons. Really crazy. Won 7 games. Kawhi had to hit a crazy corner shot, passing through Ben Simmons and over Embiid to hit the lucky shot. And then, they were down 0-2 against the Bucks. And then after that, they won 4 straight, and Kawhi just put his imprint on it. So it was crazy, man. Kawhi Leonard won his second Finals MVP. He ended up averaging 29 points per game, 10 rebounds, 4 assists, 2 steals, 1.2 block shot, 91% from the field. High volume shooter, but still 44% from the field, 36% from 3. Had major contributions. Siakam 28, 4, 51% from the field, which was crazy, above his season average. Kyle Lowry played well, 16, 7, 4, above his season average. Van Fleet was crazy off the bench, 14, and the list goes on and on and on. So I think the main reason, why they won in general, I just thought that they had more depth. At the end of the day, it's about who's the most healthiest and who's in sync, and I just felt like the Raptors were a little bit more in sync. Now, obviously, KD didn't play. Like I said, I anticipate him not playing. Now, if KD played, I may still have been a little biased and had the Raptors going in 7, but I just felt like without KD, since he's such a luxury, I was just like, yeah, they don't have that much firepower. They don't have that much firepower. But the Raptors they're more athletic. They have more depth. I think they had the better player overall. And I actually think Nick Nurse, for a rookie coach, out-coached Steve Kerr as well, too. And I just knew, even though the regular season really don't matter, the fact that they beat them in Oracle without Kawhi and they beat them the first time, I was like, yeah, they're here now. And I kind of think that playing against the Blazers didn't really work out for them because although they got to the conference final, I feel like they overachieved a little bit. Okay. So I was just like, yeah, you guys aren't really as battle tested. I mean, you guys went through Houston in 6 games, second round, and you went 6 games against the Clippers, but I just knew what it was. And one of the biggest things, too, I was thinking about, I was like, Boogie ruptured his quad, right? He had a quad injury.
He was hurt.
In game 1, I think, of against the Clippers, right? Game 1 or game 2? I think it was game 1, honestly. And that was crazy because you're really expecting a man to miss multiple weeks to come back and give you what he's used to giving you, about 24, 25, and like 12. But that wasn't the case. I feel like with big men too, it just takes a while for them
To regroup.
To
He's
regroup.
7 foot tall.
Yeah, 7 foot tall. Got to get his conditioning back. Boy was gassed.
Game 2.
It's crazy because like game 1, he played 7, 8 minutes. So I'm like, all right, they're probably gonna slowly boost up his minutes. I didn't think he was gonna go from 8 minutes all the way to 28 minutes from game 1 to game 2. I was like, yo, like are you serious right now? So he kind of scared me a little bit game 2, but overall, like if you think about it, the Raptors could have swept them. Like game 1, Raptors handled business. Game 2, out of all people, Iggy hits a wild 3 to win the game.
Wide open 3.
Wide open 3. And imagine
professional.
if Kawhi stole the ball. Like that's another possession right there. And then also the Raptors had historically like one of the worst starts of a third quarter in general. And they still only lost by 3-4 points, which was crazy. Yeah. And then if KD didn't play game 5, Raptors would have probably won that one too. So it was just crazy, man. But I gotta say, you know, Steph did all he could. He still ended up averaging 36 and 5. And obviously Klay went down game 6. He averaged 26, 5 and 2. Draymond had basically averaged a triple double, so that was pretty good too. So what was your impressions on the finals? And yeah, I want to hear your thoughts. Why do you think the Raptors won? Why do you think the Warriors lost?
Impression on the finals. I think a lot of it was injuries to the Warriors. I mean, to keep it stacked, I'm not taking anything away from the Raptors, but a lot of injuries. KD was down. Who knows if Iggy was 100%. Klay was ailing and then ended up tearing his ACL.
Yeah.
And the end of it, which I didn't think the injury was that bad. At first, I thought it was an ankle injury, but it turned out in the game to be a ACL because you see he comes down and he tweaks his leg. Yeah. In Game 6, Klay is a real deal. Like I feel like they could have stole that game because Klay he's going for 45.
I ain't even gonna lie because they were up like 4. I think the Warriors were up 4 at that point.
Yeah.
Before he got hurt, right? Dude, you're right. Game 6 Klay is OD. Like I was doing FanDuel with my boy Zach.
Okay.
I definitely picked Klay Thompson there too.
Go stupid.
Mad he went hurt, but he went stupid.
Go stupid.
And I feel like the Warriors just had that momentum, and the fact that was their last game ever in Oracle, I was just like, yo, like if it's any game for them to win, they can force a game 7, and that gets real spooky right there. But if he didn't go down, I'd be thinking like, yo, they would have probably won that joint.
Yeah.
But we'll never know. But keep going, man.
Between that, I think, and it was interesting because I focused a lot on Game 6, watching it, seeing what like different people were doing. I think coming down the stretch, I don't think Kawhi had a great game coming down the stretch in not Game 5, Game 6. In the final game, I didn't think Kawhi had a great game coming down the stretch. I think that
it's collective effort, definitely.
Collective effort. I think the Van Fleet
was
cooked Quinn Cook.
It is Fred Van Fleet.
What's Red Van Fleet? I think Red Van Fleet. I'm not gonna say bailed out, but he fit in where he could get in, and he did the damn thing when it came to performing where he needed to perform. That backup point guard role, that attacking Quinn Cook where he should have been. Let's see. Again, once Klay went down, those matchups get tough because you got Pascal Siakam that's a legit stretch for doing work, and he operates in that mid-post game. So you have Iggy, you have Klay that are 2 elite defenders, and then you have elite players on the other team like Kawhi Leonard that's not going to stop. Even though I said it seemed like coming down the stretch that, Kawhi seemed like he kind of shied away from it, except for those. He had like 1 or 2 and ones that were like, that were huge. That were huge. And like they were grown man basketball, but it was still like, all right, the Warriors were trapping in some situations. Like, all right, where's Klay? Klay kind of just was stood around like mid-court, but didn't like cut directly to the basket or to the ball, and different things like that. But again, it came down to depth, and the Raptors had more than that. They were battle tested. Lowry, the leader that he was, he deserved to like put the trophy over his head. Kawhi he's a dynasty killer.
He is a dynasty
different.
killer.
He's
He
different.
is a dynasty killer.
With no emotion at all until he kills the King of the North, or he just does away with the tyrants that they are. And again, the supporting cast went crazy. You can't do anything but tip your hats to these guys because they didn't celebrate until it was time to celebrate. They finished the job. No, even if it did look like, oh, we're probably gonna get these guys, they're injury prone. Steph still had that shot. When that play called it, that pick play from the block, and then Steph comes around after the ball gets inbound and gets that shot. It was a wide open look, but not wide, but it was the best look he would have got.
And it's Steph Curry, the best shooter of all time.
Best shooter of all time in the NBA.
Gotta make that. I just had that feeling he was gonna miss too.
Does it hurt his legacy?
And that was actually going into my next topic. How does this fare with his legacy? Do you think it's tainted a little bit? Now, I mean, if you want to be quite frank, I love Steph Curry. And Steph Curry, if you happen to watch this, I think you are going to go down as the best point guard of all time. You're definitely the best shooter, all-around shooter of all time I've ever seen. Set shooter, probably Klay Thompson. I got to go Klay. But yeah, Steph's one of the best. He definitely, compared to the last couple of finals, I saw some improvement, sort of. But it's kind of hard to say about the improvement because he did have KD with him, so there was no pressure on him the last two finals that they were in or that they won. So his stats looked a little better. But before that, honestly, his first one, if you're going to talk about injuries playing a big part, you can argue their first ring that they won, injuries played a huge part because they didn't have two. LeBron didn't have two All-Stars. He didn't have Kyrie, went down game one, but I think in overtime. And then Kevin Love hurt his shoulder, separated his shoulder from Kelly Olynyk against the Celtics too. But at the same time, it's like, yeah, the Warriors got injured too, but they still had a couple All-Stars with them too. It was like, how much talent do you need right there? You know what I'm saying? You still got Iggy, Livingston, Kevon Looney. You still had those boys right there, and I don't know. But to answer your question with Steph, man, it kind of always seems sometimes like when it matters the most, he kind of goes sleep a little bit. Does it mess up his legacy? Not really, because without him, there would be no Warriors or potential dynasty or whatever you want to call them, wherever they're going to be cemented in their legacy. So I don't think it's too tainted, but it makes you definitely think, like, can he be that number one option to win a chip? He's never won a Finals MVP yet, and I feel like even if they came back down from 3-1 to win this, I think it would have went to Klay Thompson, and that just sucks. But
Klay was having a great game that game though. He
was averaging 26 for real. Okay. I mean, he had a pretty solid game one. I think game two was pretty solid too. Didn't play game three. Game four he played pretty damn good. Game five he played pretty damn good. I don't know. I just feel like a lot of times when
you said Steph's averaging 26.
No, I think Steph averaged 30. Klay averaged 26.
So why'd you say he's going away?
I just feel like, I don't know about you, but I feel like sometimes with impact, like I feel like even when Steph scores, it don't really seem impactful. I feel like a lot of times, even though he'll give you 28, 30 points a night, he still gives up about 15 points. And I feel like with Klay, I don't know. I just felt like Klay was more impactful. Even Draymond was a little bit more impactful than Steph Curry this series, but maybe I'm tripping. What do you think about that?
Are you like suffering from like having a birthday near Christmas? The presents don't mean anything to you anymore? Like, what? Like,
I like that.
All he does is hit threes, and he averaged 30 points in the finals. Like, Steph's a big time player. Like, that's Steph hit shots, and it's demoralizing to a team. So we didn't have a team that had the firepower, I guess, per se. And even with the matchups coming down the stretch, so they had more leeway for firepower. So where Golden State Warriors was lacking in offense, the Toronto could strike them, not lacking, but where they were gaining in offense, Toronto could strike them right back because they might not have had some of their defenders. So this is one of the first finals that we've seen maybe a three not mean as much per se, because last year with the Cavs that probably weren't the best shooting. They weren't the best shooting team.
They're the worst
They were
defensive
the worst,
team too.
the worst defensive team too. So when you hit a 3 back to back, shit meant something.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like it was like, oh, like they might not be able to come back from this. Oh, Steph's hot. Like Steph dropping 30 points, damn near a game this series, and it meant something. Like so, not meant something, but it meant a little less.
Yeah.
Because the Raptors could come right back and score, or they had another defender that could help with one of their weapons. So when Klay was hot, maybe Steph wasn't going as crazy. He had 21 points, probably because of the volume of shots that Klay had in the in this last game too. But I just think when it comes to that, you still have to respect the greatness because Steph's putting up those numbers. He's still hitting threes. Is it oversaturated with not KD wasn't playing, but with Klay Thompson around going crazy, yeah, it's a little bit oversaturated with
And
different.
then it's like for
pieces.
me too, it's like you're two-time. You're the first ever unanimous MVP, 2-time regular season MVP, right? Back to back, I think. Yeah. Obviously 3-time champion, but it's like I feel like when it matters most, like when it's a 1-2 possession game in the fourth quarter, 6, 7, 8 minutes to go, like where are you? You're asleep. You're asleep, bro. Like you're asleep, and I need you to do better. You know what I'm saying? Like even though when did Klay get fouled out one game? I don't think Klay got fouled out one. Maybe he got fouled out one game. I can't remember. But what game did they go boxing one?
That was
game 2, right?
2 where he hit the shot.
Did Klay get fouled out?
Yeah,
because the boxing one there at the elbow, then towards
game 2, Warriors.
I think it's game 2. Yeah. That game, the 5-point game. Game 2, they played boxing one like the last couple of minutes. I think because Klay Thompson may have gotten fouled out, right? I think he got fouled out. And Steph didn't score any points. No. Klay Thompson didn't get fouled out. He hurt his hamstring. Then he left the game, I think, right?
He left the game.
And then it was just Steph Curry and Draymond Green with Iggy, Livingston, and I think Boogie or something like that. But yeah, man, like, in the fourth quarter, he be asleep. I'm like, dude, where you at? I don't know if it's because he's not that great defensively. Because when you looked at it, like whoever was on him, whoever he was guarding was frying him. Like there's one clip on Twitter when Van Fleet had the ball up top and he signaled to Livingston, "Yo, go get this man. Like I can't guard him right now." But I guess because since they're so injury plagued, he has to do so much offensively. Even though he's not known for his defense, he had to take. He had to get hidden up there. So
the light exposes.
Yeah, I mean to answer your question, I don't think it really taints him too, but I think now we definitely have to hold him to a standard like a LeBron James and stuff like that too. Because if you got that much accolades, like you gotta bring your A game. You definitely gotta bring your A game. So I'm gonna leave it off with that too. Next thing I want to talk about for the next topic has to possibly be Kevin Durant. KD, yeah, that's me. So KD ruptured his Achilles. So I believe it was game 5 against the Rockets, right? In the fourth quarter, I think. KD went for a side. It was the fourth quarter. Or was it third quarter?
KD ruptured his before half.
No, not Achilles. I'm going back to going back to when KD first hurt his calf.
Okay.
So he hurt his calf against the Rockets. Game 5 in the fourth quarter. He said that once he shot the ball, it felt like someone had kicked him. That's normally like a sign of you getting an Achilles injury. But he felt that. He went on to miss the rest of that series. Golden State took care of business. Then he went on to miss the conference finals. And then after that, against the conference finals against the Blazers. And then he went to the he went to the championship, missed game 1, 2, 3, and 4. And then he came back game 5. Damn, I ain't even going to lie to you, bro. When I heard he was playing, I was like, damn, maybe, he's been out of rhythm a little bit. So I think he's gonna. He's been out of sync for a little bit. You know what I'm saying, battling his injury. So I think he's gonna be a little rusty. But some things just come natural to you. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I was just like, damn. Like I'm actually kind of shook. Like if it's any team besides LeBron James in 2016 and coming from a 3-1 deficit, if KD is good to go and won't further risk anything injury wise, it probably
could have been a wrap.
Yeah. You know what I'm when he came back, bro, dude hit like 3 threes. I was like, dude. come on. Like, he was looking invincible right there. And I think there was a possession where Serge Ibaka is guarding him and he tries to cross over to his left. And then you just see in slow motion when they show the videotape, his Achilles slash calf just like, it's like jelly, just like being crushed or something like that.
Scary moment.
Very, very scary moment, man. It was kind of sad, like I never, wish bad upon any player, any person that's trying to get theirs at the same time. Now I could be upset about him, because he made the choice to go to Golden State, but I ain't gonna be mad at him because, he's a hooper, and you gotta do what makes you happy. So, it sucked. I think it's gonna change the entire landscape of free agency.
It's going to change college basketball.
Going to change college basketball, and then it's going to definitely change the Warriors in the future. What do you feel about his injury? Do you think he should have played? Because I feel like sometimes with KD, it's like, man, and I'm just speculating because I don't know the man, but it seems to me, based on what he lets us into in his world, whether it be interviews or being on social media, he has very thin skin. Would you agree that it looks like he has thin skin in some moments?
I'll agree with that per se.
Sometimes it seems like
of the perception.
The perception.
Before I go into my spiel,
yeah.
Sooner.
So the perception to me seems like he has somewhat of thin skin, and I feel like he was pressured. I think he was pressured by his players. I think he caved into social media, possibly was pressured by them saying, oh, they had this whole scenario, oh, if KD don't play and they win, like, you're useless, blah, 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 blah. And I think, I think management was trying to push him too. Because when you look at Bob Myers in that post-game conference. In tears. It didn't really look sincere at all. He was like, damn, like the whole time he just looked guilty. I was like, dude, I know guilt when I see it. You know what I'm saying?
Like, I'm going to jail for what I did.
Right?
Like,
I'm going to jail for what I did. And I was just like, bro, like, you probably pressured him saying this and this and that, and you made it feel like, I mean, he was needed. I ain't even going to flex, but I felt like it's just two different, like, scenarios. It's like, on one hand, if you're a competitor and you get cleared, because they said, at first I thought he just got cleared by the team doctors. He actually got a second opinion, too. They both said that he was good to go, and the worst you can do is re-injure your calf. But I just felt like
I knew it wasn't his calf.
It wasn't his calf, bro, because even after game 2, when the Warriors won game 2, and they went back into the tunnel, back when Klay Thompson and Drake had their little words exchange or whatever, KD had that ice pack on his leg, and it won't even really at his calf like that. It was kind of below there too. So I was just like, dude, and you kind of walking funny. I was like, dude, why would you risk it? But I'm saying, like, if they clear you to play, then you're a competitor and you feel like you can contribute, and this is where it matters the most. I don't blame him, but at the same time, we're in the era now where players have the power now, and you're making more money now than ever because of salary cap going up, and you about to be a free agent. It's just like,
dude, is KD 7
dude,
foot
save your
tall.
bread, bro. Save your bread, because leg injuries are crazy, especially like you said when you're 7 feet. But that sucks. I mean, how you think about that? Do you think he should have played? And then following that, what do you think his futures are? What do you think his future is looking like?
I'll be honest.
In the offseason.
I don't think he should have played particularly, but I know if it would have been me, I would have played. Mm-hmm. Just being a competitor, being like somebody that's played the sport. Yeah. And I've had like tendinitis in my Achilles and stuff like that, and it might not have felt the same for him, but it's probably just some tightness, and he's been off it for like 2 weeks, 2.5 weeks at that point. Yeah. All right, let's go. Let's see what happens. Some tightness. I'm gonna go play on it. That's probably always kind of ailing him. Yeah, and he's been playing on it. Like, they don't show you his workouts when he's outside the court because they don't want you to know how ready he is, stuff like that. But he clearly had been playing on it here and there. All it takes is a misstep to pop your Achilles. Definitely when it's already injured. It was probably already like a little bit torn or something like that. Yeah, and that was the step it took to go. Does it hurt him in free agency? No. I think KD's still a gem. He's a secret weapon or ultimate weapon, whatever you want to call it. Mm-hmm. Like, he's tough. He's the greatest scorer we've seen in basketball. Mm-hmm. The outlook of how it's going to change, I think players are going to be a lot more selfish now. Mm-hmm. They're going to like we saw Kawhi. Everybody questioned Kawhi. Nobody's questioning Kawhi anymore because he was healthy enough this year to play and win a championship on a totally different team than he was before. KD doesn't have that same situation. He can't do that.
He's trying to seek that validation too.
Yeah. And we, to be honest, as fans, we've never really appreciated KD after he went to Golden State. From like to be completely honest, from an NBA standpoint, unless you just around the guy 24/7, I don't think you really appreciated KD since he's been on Golden State because you're like, all right, maybe he took the easy way out. If we boil it down, Golden State plays a style of basketball where it's pass the ball. Let's get a good shot or let's shoot an open shot. They play a carefree style of basketball. That's what he saw compared to what he was playing with the Thunder at the time. With
My turn, your turn.
Yeah, my turn, your turn, my turn, your turn. It's like, let's pass, get the best shot. They were playing defense. It looked like a fun AAU team, pretty much, like just dogging people, you know? They were just out there dogging people. The Nike, the Adidas circuit, let's go out and let's dog people with our mob we have. And KD saw that, he's like, I'm going to go play that for a few years. He wasn't really worried about validation. He got 2 rings out of it. And I don't think we appreciated him as much. And for him, he was like, yeah, I'm going to go out here. I'm going to show people how tough I am, rather than sit around, because he probably felt good, but was he 100%? I know we could poll 100 athletes, and we might not even get 10 that will say that, hey, I've played every game at 100%. You know, definitely for athletes that have played that long, at that stature, if everything's on the line, the championship's on the line, your team's down 3-1, or they were down 3. It was down 3-1 at the time. You're gonna go out there. You're gonna do what you gotta do for your team, and it's a question of your toughness too. Nah, bro, I ain't going out like no. I ain't no Mike Scott. You know, I ain't no. So all respects to KD for going out there and doing that. But going forward, nobody's playing with their money anymore because their body is their money. You know, and if I'm real again, I don't think the Golden State Warriors fans really respected him, really appreciated him for what he had. Now that we think he's going, I believe he's going in free agency, but I don't think they really understood that, this is a gym. This is a cheat code that we have. Is it fair? Is this basketball? So you got to match up how you match up, but he's a gym. Like, if Klay's not having a good night, if Steph's not having a good night shooting threes, cool, whatever, but KD's going to score the ball. Yeah. He might have a game where he's not being super aggressive, but he can score the ball at will. So it's going to change basketball from college on. It will change KD, just from Achilles is the basketball injury. It's the basketball injury. You're never really going to be the same. But we'll see how he bounces back, and it could further his legacy. He comes back. He's 31 right now. Yeah. He comes back. He's not going to play next season. He's come back at 32, 33, killing it, and then we're like, wow, like this is a totally different player we've seen before. Like, or we won't. You lose something and you appreciate it a lot more. Yeah. So we're gonna appreciate his greatness when he comes back, which I hope he comes back at 100% and shows the whole league what they've been missing.
For sure. Then I think I got a stat somewhere. Let me see what I joined at real quick though. Oh yeah, there we go. So I took a screenshot of something on Twitter. I basically said Achilles tear recoveries for notable NBA players and their ages and whatnot. So in recent history, DeMarcus Cousins tore his Achilles. His total recovery time was 357 days at the age of 27. Kobe Bryant, 240 days at the age of 34. Chauncey Billups, 296 days to recover, age 35. Elton Brand, 243 games, age 27, and then Dominique Wilkins, 283, and age 32. Some notable other players have been Rudy Gay, who we saw had a pretty damn good season to his standards, and then Mike Conley was battling some Achilles related injuries as well too in his career. So you think he's going to be out the whole year?
Yes, of course.
Not at all come back?
No, I wouldn't.
Yeah, he kind of injured really late on too, so it makes sense. So my next topic for you is, if you're KD, what do you do? You say he's about to rock. I think what he should do, I mean, if you're saying now, for real, if he's about to miss a whole year, I mean, he's such a unique player, like you said a little earlier, to the fact that any team like a Brooklyn, like a Clippers, even in New York, they're willing to wait for him for a whole year.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I think what I would do if he cannot come back by playoff time, which he probably won't, like you said, I don't mind opting into my contract and then just getting healthy under Golden State and going elsewhere. But at the same time,
That's the same team that sent you back out there.
I mean, at the end of the day, that was his choice.
Okay.
Let's be real, like that was his choice at the end of the day. You know what I'm saying? That maybe he was influenced a little bit, but at the end of the day, we have free will, and his choice was to play, knowing that something could be re-aggravated, not the Achilles. He wanted there to play too. But I don't know, man. I think I may opt into my contract and then become a free agent next year. But if there's a team, that wants me, then I might do that because, there's rumors that Kyrie might go to Brooklyn and they can get another free agent spot right there if they don't match D'Angelo Russell's offer. So it's just like, do you want to see Kyrie just see what he can do that year? And then when KD come back, it's like, damn, all right, now we know what we can be.
No, we don't want to see what Kyrie can do that year, to be honest. Not even taking no shade from Kyrie, but we don't. We saw that experiment in Boston this year. I mean, and he had a better supporting cast.
Yeah.
I mean, if I'm smart leadership, if I'm smart, like insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results. I don't want to see the same results, bro. Like, let's do something different.
Yeah.
As well as, bro, Mark Cuban took Kristaps Porzingis with an ACL tear.
Yeah.
He wasn't gonna play this year.
Yeah.
He's sitting there. He's gonna be great and geared up with Luka Doncic for next season, ready to go.
Mm-hmm.
So, a year in an ailing franchise that probably didn't look like they were gonna reach the conference finals at least. Because as good as Boston was, I don't see them reaching the conference finals. If the East stays intact, they're not. So
Especially if Kawhi stay.
let's offer. Yeah, let's. Nah, bro, like it's not happening. Yo, but let's buy in. Let's give Kyrie his money. Let's get KD here and see what happens. I mean, he can be here. He won't be playing. That's fine. That's a long-term investment. Like, that's fine.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, so that settles it. You think he should leave. I think he should stay. But if a team is willing to wait for him, then by any means, go there, get paid, come back healthy, and do what you got to do, baby. Next thing I want to talk about is Klay Thompson, man. Klay Thompson tore his ACL in Game 6. I can remember the sequence like it was yesterday. Kyle Lowry, first Pascal Siakam had the ball, is about to lose it from Draymond, and then Kyle Lowry gets the ball, tries to drive in, and I think Draymond kind of deflects it a little bit, and then I think Steph Curry steals it, goes up for the Steph Curry gets it in the fast break. Passes to Klay. Klay goes up for a two-hand yam. Danny Green tries to contest his shot. Clean contest. Just lands awkwardly. Like
Disgusting.
You said, at first I thought
He didn't know where he was.
At first I thought it was his ankle at first, his ankle. But when I saw that replay and his leg went like, I was like, dude, I don't know if it was a stinger. I don't know if it was a slight sprain. I don't know what it was. Because after they kind of carried him off, he was running down the
I thought he was going to come back and play.
Yeah, he was running down, and I was like, okay, he's jumping up and down, running. I was like, yo, this dude's a warrior, like a true warrior.
Yeah.
Like, he's really about to come back and
drop 50.
And drop 50. If he didn't get hurt, he was about to go for 50, bro. I swear to God, he was about to go for 50, man. Damn, that's not my fan doing money.
NBA streets, he was just glowing. Like.
Right? Glowing, bro, on fire. But yeah, man, that injury was pretty devastating because I think aside from Game 3, that was the first injury. I mean, first game that he's ever missed in the playoffs ever.
Okay.
First time playing without Steph Curry ever in the playoffs as well too, I believe. Actually, yeah, no. Steph Curry sprained his MCL a few years ago. But damn, that kind of took a blow, and I think that kind of solidified them losing that series. But if you're Klay, do you stay? Or do you go elsewhere as well too?
If I'm Klay, I stay.
You stay? Why you stay?
Yeah, I stay because one, that all NBA money that you're not about to get, for one. Two, I think as much as we would want to try to disvalue Clay in some ways, or like say, oh, Clay's not gonna come back here. Like, I mean, maybe it's time for a change, but Clay's the second weapon on that team. To be honest, like Dame and CJ McCollum. I mean, Clay is CJ McCollum with less in the concept of like the 1-2 punch.
Okay.
And the 1-2 punch.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm not. I think CJ McCollum's a lot more shifty and can't shoot as well nearly as Clay, but in the 1-2 punch of the Warriors, Clay is that. I mean, we've seen times where it was like last year, it was like there's memes where like, oh, when you get an A on a project but you don't contribute, and there's Clay sitting on the bench, and he got cold for a while, but Clay is still like he's still capable of going for 40 any day, just because that's the caliber of player he is. That's the shooter he is. I think if you're Clay, you ride this out, man. Would it look kind of shaky with KD not being there, and then AD to the Lakers, and the Rockets supposedly about to regroup, and the steady emerging Nuggets that are giving people problems, the Clippers that are looking like they're trying to get a good free agent in. That could be Jimmy Butler. That could be somebody interesting. But I think I stay because that's the best place that I have to win, unless he is going to go to like an LA for like less money, or I think LA. I saw a tweet that LA is just still trying to clear out money so they can sign a supermax player.
We'll talk about that a little later.
But yeah, so that would be very interesting. I mean, you have in the West like the people like the Clippers. For me, and if I'm Clay, I'm only eyeing the Clippers. I'm eyeing Golden State unless I'm going East. But why even do that? Mm-hmm. So, out of options and out of where I am in my career and the comfort and the organization, I stay with Golden State.
Yeah, and I already know he's gonna stay, bro. Like he reminds me of Ginobili, Tony Parker, Tim Duncan type of player. Loyalty is everything to him too. And while he's something that you built, you know what I'm saying? He believes he's one of the best players in the NBA. He should have been all team and one of those all team first, second, or third. He definitely. That's why it sucks because it's like the regular season too, but playoffs is what matters the most. But he should have definitely had a spot up there anyways. But yeah, if you Clay, man, when your team has the bird rights to you, they can offer you the highest, and he's all on defensive team too. So he eligible. He's not eligible for that super max that he wanted, but he's still getting like 190.
They can get right.
Yeah, that's the most you can get paid anyways too. And I believe if him and Steph Curry and Draymond Green that big threes together, and you just add bits and pieces every now and then, like you're always going to be a Spurs type of team where you're going to compete for a championship every single year. So if I'm Clay, I'm staying, and it's not too bad. He's not like a D Rose type of player where his game is tailored towards his athleticism.
Yeah.
So I think he'll come back good. You think he's going to be back by playoff time possibly?
With the ACL, you come back a little bit faster. I think he could be back playoff time. I think
All-Star break.
Interesting. Mm-hmm. At full though, I don't know. Mm-hmm. I think if I'm Clay at 29 years old, you got a smooth, decent 5 years of basketball left in you. Mm-hmm. He'll be February by the time All-Star break comes around. If I'm really, really confident in it, I come back. I mean, the shooting at least is gonna help them. Mm-hmm. And then for the Warriors,
it's gonna take a while for him to regain his strength and conditioning. Yeah. And then his lateral movement and all that stuff. And he's one of the best two-way players, best perimeter defenders too. So
I think I'll wait on it.
I'm wondering how long is this going to take.
I think I'll wait on it a little bit more.
If he can string along like 15, 20 games going into playoffs, I think he'll be fine. But we'll just I'm laughing right now because you guys don't see, but my dog is real little on the ground, just getting and humping his bed. Like, come on,
Ziggy. Back to Klay Thompson.
Back to Klay Thompson, though.
I think Klay Thompson can get it when he comes back from an ACL injury. I think he's thinking he should take a time. So shout out Ziggy, but wow, that's
Shout out Ziggy, but wow. So next topic for you is Golden State Warriors next season. What is that looking like to you? I think that with no KD,
where are they finishing up?
Okay, yeah. So with no KD and no Steph Curry, I think they're going to be fighting for a playoff spot. I think so. When you only got him and Draymond the whole season, bruh, I think they're going to kind of struggle a little bit, bro.
Fighting for a playoff spot?
Dude, yes. You saw Harden.
It was tough, but fighting for a playoff spot.
I think they're going to get a 5 through 8 seed. And in the West, every day it changes.
Or self MVP again.
I was saying that too. Him and LeBron are my top picks for MVP next year.
Because LeBron's going to fill it up with the pieces they're going to give him.
Yeah.
LeBron's going to, the basketball mind that is LeBron, the greatest player that we've seen ever, it's going to go stupid.
Yeah, but I think Steph, knowing that he doesn't have KD or Clay, and it's literally just him and Draymond, we don't know where Boogie's going to go. If he can get a 5, even if he gets 5 through 8 seed, it's probably going to be the most shot attempts he's ever had.
Yeah.
All his stats going to go up. His percentages may be going down a little bit, but I can see him averaging literally like 36, 8, and 5, bro.
What it does scare me for is his health too, because he's always had ankle problems.
And it's kind of ironic too, right? With his ankle injuries, like you would think he'd be the one to be hurt over KD and Klay Thompson.
Less stress on him.
So I think he's going to play around 40 minutes, like probably like 35 to 40 minutes a night, and I think he's going to come out for MVP. But I think they're going to, knowing that the West is getting better, that the Nuggets going to come back better. PG finally got his imprint on the game. Russ is gonna come back stronger. Lakers gonna be better. Blazers are gonna be better. Like there's Utah's gonna be. There's teams out there, so it's gonna be a dogfight every single night.
Top down, Nuggets, Blazers,
OKC. Houston's still there.
OKC, Lakers, Clippers.
Kawhi might come. We don't know that either.
And then you
call Utah.
I didn't say Utah. Utah's going to get better.
We don't know what Sacramento's going to look like. Porzingis about to come back with Luka. They could sign another player.
All in the West.
Dude, it's going to be tough, bro. It's going to be tough, my guy.
Pelicans?
It's going to be. Nah, we're going to talk about that too. Nah, not yet. We don't know.
Depot coming back in the East.
When is Depot coming back?
Depot coming back in the East. He tore his ACL, broke his leg, something like that. Depot's stupid athletic too, and he's young. Mm-hmm. He comes back after Christmas.
Okay, I can see that.
Or if they have the time to after All-Star break, but I feel like before or after Christmas, Depot comes back, terrorizes. Yeah, terrorizes. There's a spot in the East just right for Depot and the Pacers.
Yeah, for sure. But yeah, to answer your question, I think. Well, answer my question that I asked you, but answering my question. I think the Warriors are going to end a 6 through 8 seed. Depending on when Klay Thompson comes back, they're definitely going to be a 6 through 8 seed. They're going to struggle, man. They're going to have some highs, going to have some lows, but it's going to be a struggle. I don't know that if he goes some. I mean, I feel like he's going to get most paid with $5 to $8 million again. He really got re-injured. Didn't really do that well in the finals. I mean, I know you kind of just tossed him out there in the fire, but at the same time, we don't know where he's at yet. So you could take that gamble, and maybe a team that's in the bottom half trying to compete for a playoff spot will give him more money. But honestly, I don't really see him getting that much money this year. I think he's going to have to prove himself again. So I think it would be smart to just sign a little $5 to $8 million contract with the Warriors again and see what you can do from there too. Because obviously that quad hurt was something that was kind of random. His Achilles seems fine right now. So if he gets back, to where he's at, Golden State could be a problem too if he stay. Yeah. But I see them getting like a 5 through 8 seed to answer.
I'm dropping Boogie for Patrick McCaw.
You're sick. Patrick McCaw got that 3-peat. That's actually very sick.
Pretty sick.
Very sick. Kind of going back now. Gotta have that inner Skip Bayless in me without the motherfucking hate. Is Kawhi considered, based off of his playoff run, the best player in the NBA? So obviously I feel like in today's era, to me it's kind of like an out of sight, out of mind, us being prisoners of the moment and whatnot. He played great this playoff run, man. And then I knew he was gonna, with that load management, I knew he was gonna come back doing something crazy. So just to point out some stuff right now, at the age of 27, Well, let's talk about the playoffs, and then we talk about the age of 27. So he led the 2019 playoffs in minutes, points, rebounds, steals, field goals, and free throws. And at the resume of 27 years of age, he got a ring before MJ did. Obviously, ain't gonna be no MJ and whatnot. But two-time NBA champion, two-time NBA Finals MVP, two-time Defensive Player of the Year, three-time NBA All-Star, two-time first-team All-NBA, two-time first-team All-Defense, and won a Finals MVP with multiple teams in San Antonio and with Toronto, joining the company of LeBron, who won in Miami and Cleveland, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, who won with the Bucks and Lakers, and he's the first to ever win a Finals MVP in both conferences. So my question to you is, do you think that right now, knowing that KD is out, LeBron missed the playoffs, he's about to be 35, Steph's, I guess you can say, sort of meltdown or lack of whatever you're saying, James not doing whatever, him, surpassing the odds against Embiid and going against the Greek freak and whatnot, him being one of the best two-way players in the NBA, is he, for the time being, until someone snatches it from him, is he the best player in the NBA right now?
Yes.
Why?
Currently, he's sitting on the throne for all you Game of Thrones fans. He it would have been like if Jon Snow hadn't got written off the way he did. If we want to talk about it now, like everybody's like cool with how Game of Thrones turned out. But it's the story that he didn't go team up with a super team. Did he fall into a good house? Yes. He was born into like House Lannister or like House like Baratheon or whatever like that. For all my Game of Thrones fans, we'll get there. So you gotta just I don't know. But
I don't watch Game of Thrones, guys. I'm sorry. I watched the first season, and I watched a little bit of the second season. I told one of my old friends that I would watch it with her, but I don't know. I'm just into things that are like based on true stories, and I like sci-fi. I don't really like fantasy like that.
Sewell's a fun guy.
I'm a fun guy.
But back where I was saying, he was born into a good house, House Spur. He was the bastard of Coach forgive me, basketball guy, but he was the bastard of Coach Greg Popovich. He was sent to the wall up in the north to perform his task until we found out that he was really the true heir to the Iron Throne. And in the process, he actually took the Iron Throne instead of saying, I don't want it. I don't want it. I don't want it. Because Kawhi knows something, Jon Snow, and he did everything that we wanted him to do from a basketball standpoint and from just a meekness standpoint. Kawhi is just such a I'm here to play basketball and we're gonna win kind of guy. Like he is beautiful. So that the fan lore was good enough for me for that. But two, he gets the job done. Like he's battle tested when he first got into the league, when he first was facing the big three with LeBron, D Wade, Chris Bosh, guarding LeBron James at the age 22, and coming out there scoring, not saying nothing, being about his business, whether it's how he is or the habits that he really just chooses to have. Like Kawhi's out there doing it. He's putting up the numbers. He's and through a decade later, almost. I'm not even gonna say a decade, but it's been some years later, and he's doing it.
Dynasty killer.
He does it with another team. Are the were the words a little bit impaired? Yes, but did his numbers speak for themselves?
And what player? Sorry for cutting you off. What player have you heard of other than MJ taking off 2 years? What player do you know missed damn near an entire season, gets traded to another conference, has load management, only plays 60 games, and then comes back and wins Finals MVP and leads the league in the playoffs with all those stats I just pointed out? Dude, shit crazy.
No, nobody. And again, like Sewell was saying earlier, he's battle tested. He was battle tested like the Philly. They weren't no pushover team. To be honest, the Philly, the Philly team, the changes they made and who they were, minus Ben Simmons' jump shot or lack thereof, Markel Fultz took it with him to Orlando.
I forgot he played in the NBA.
Relax.
Bro.
Relax, bro. Markel Fultz, he better have a big year, bro.
That ass forgot he was in the league, bro. That's crazy.
But, yo, like, minus all that, Philly was the best team they could have faced. The dysfunctional Celtics, nah. But they were battle-tested. Kawhi, poetically, Game 7, last shot, buzzer beater, drops and goes crazy. I think you can't write a better narrative, and you couldn't put a better person in the leading role for that narrative because Kawhi checks off all the boxes.
Literally everything.
So is he the best player in the league right now? Yes. Not to take away that LeBron James the best player we've seen thus far, physically, mentally, and any other place. Like, so we'll see the resurgent LeBron next season with his new look Lakers. He always has a new look team when he plays.
We'll talk about a stat I got for you too.
But yes, Kawhi has the crown. I'll give you that.
Yeah, got the crown now. Until someone come grab it, we're gonna see. And I feel like wherever team he goes to, if he goes to another team, someone's gonna want to play with him. So they're gonna sign another player with him. He's gonna talk to other people. So wherever he goes, I kind of agree with Max Kellerman, ESPN First Take. Definitely, you guys watch that, check it out. Wherever Kawhi goes, I think they would be the favorites. I just think he's in his prime right now, and I feel like it's gonna be very, very tough to beat Kawhi 4 times in the playoffs right now. Like, ain't nobody stopping that man right now. Going on my next topic, Toronto parade and Toronto in general. Parade was crazy, man. Very, very lit. I think about 2 million people pulled up. My boy Keyshawn that I met at Howard through my cousin Warren. He's from T-Dot right now. He was at the festival, so I got to live vicariously through him.
Okay.
It was pretty dope, man. Pretty intense. People were lit. It seemed like it was a national holiday. It seemed like no one went to school or work or anything like that. It was very, very crazy. But yeah, man, the first time the Raptors have ever won a championship, and first time a non-U.S. country non-U.S. team. Country, whatever you want to say, has won an NBA final. So that was pretty dope for Kawhi and the company to deliver that to him too. I guess with this topic, what I want to say is, if you're Kawhi Leonard, where do you go after this, and do you owe it to Toronto to stay? Because I feel like he kind of fulfilled his promise, right? You know what I'm saying, on this LeBron James thing, where I'm gonna come back. It's a little different scenario, but I'm going to come to this team. I'm going to do what I can do. And if I deliver, then that's what I've done. I don't owe you guys anything. And I feel like him going to Toronto, he really doesn't owe them anything because he's gotten them to the mountaintop. He did what DeMar DeRozan couldn't do. Shout out to DeMar DeRozan, though. I mean, it kind of sucks, but at the same time, you helped build that foundation along with T-Mac, Vince Carter, Kyle Lowry, Chris Bosh, all those people that came before you. But Kawhi just better than you, bro. He's just better than you. He's just different.
Should have been Kyle.
Should have been Kyle. Right? Game of zones. But yeah, man. If I'm Kawhi, honestly, I mean, he's so good that if he can get another All-Star caliber player, I think he'll be all right, and he can compete on a yearly basis. But honestly, I like the Clippers because I love Doc Rivers. They proved this year that they can be competitive. They proved this year they're just literally a star away, and just adding another star with them would be crazy.
How long has Doc been in LA? So he's been there since he's been there.
Well, whenever Chris Paul got traded to the Clippers, when he got traded or signed to the Clippers, he came there with them too. So he's been there for maybe 5, 6, 7 years, possibly. I can't really remember. Grinding too. But yeah, the way that they moved the ball this year and the way that they pride themselves on defense this year, if you incorporate Kawhi, who's clearly going to be the number one option, I think he's going to be good, man. But I really, really like what Toronto has set for their foundation. And I've been sicing this all year if you guys been listening to my podcast, but I was saying Pascal Siakam.
It's going to be stupid next year.
last year he played like 8 minutes a game. This year he went up to like 30 minutes a game. To see what he's done and been so battle tested, there may have been games where he's been off, but relatively he's been pretty damn consistent the whole year and in the playoffs, bruh. Dude, the sky is the limit for this guy. And I feel like next year he's gonna come back even better. I feel like next year he's gonna actually be an all-star.
Scary.
And to me, obviously they're not on that level yet. But I feel like if you stay with Pascal Siakam and you just throw around some other pieces with him, that can be like an MJ Scottie Pippen type of tandem right there, I believe. I know I'm sizing, but I think that could be an MJ Pippen tandem right there. Esque. Like. Not quite there, but a little bit below, and I think they can compete for a title each year because he's just gonna get better from here on out, man. And I love Kyle Lowry. People used to hate on him. I think he finally proved people wrong. At this day and age right now, you kind of say he's better than Chris Paul right now. I'm probably tripping right now too. And then like I think their young talent just gonna get better. OG Anunoby's gonna get better. Fred VanVleet's gonna get better. Norman Powell's gonna get better. They're still under contract, so I think they're good to go. My biggest concern is like I think as far as free agents, Danny Green's about to be a free agent, and I think Marc Gasol's about to be a free agent
Mark
too.
Stan.
So I'm like, are they going to take less? If Kawhi takes like all the max, how much money are they going to have over? I don't want them to sign there and they lose some of those key pieces because Marc Gasol and Danny Green, they were huge pieces to that puzzle right there too.
I think if they get one to stay, they can get all of them to stay. And by one, I mean Kawhi.
So I mean, they're just going to have to talk. He's just going to have to talk to management, see what they have to do because I think right now he has a lineup to go meet the Lakers, to meet the Clippers, to meet Brooklyn. I think to meet the Knicks as well too with Toronto. So those five teams he's going to look out for. But honestly, if I'm Kawhi, I'm staying with the Raptors, man.
Another year
I don't
at
really
least.
want to. It'll be nice to have another super team, I guess, with Anthony Davis, which we're going to talk about later, LeBron James and him as well too. But if I'm Kawhi, I just want Finals MVP. Like I want to be the number one option, and I don't want to play second fiddle to nobody else, and I don't want to take my legacy either. So I'm either going to Clippers or I'm staying with the Raptors because I love Kyrie and whatnot, but I just feel like Kyrie wants to control a lot, and I don't think Kawhi's going to rock with that anyway. So I'm staying in Toronto, or I'm possibly going to the Clippers and teaming up with like a Kemba Walker or even like a Jimmy Butler or something like that.
Yeah, because to be honest, Kawhi's already proven. Like, he doesn't have anything else to prove to us, per se. Mm-hmm. It's about where he wants to go right now. I think he could go and sign with the Clippers later on in 2 or 3 years still. Yeah. So, like, if he wants to ride into the twilight of his career like that. Yeah, but whatever he does, we're not going to be mad at it. But in a situation where he could choose to stay and keep controlling the East with an iron fist, why not?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Why not? So we'll definitely see, man. Next topic I want to talk about is where my phone at, man? Oh man, Chris Paul and James Harden, bro. There's been a lot of things going on right now.
Chris Paul definitely ate the last hot pocket.
So basically, as far as news, there's been a lot of news coming in and out. I don't know what's real and what's not anymore. You know what I'm saying? They may have me on some platform saying I did this and this and that. I'm kidding right now. But basically, there's been rumors saying that right after the conference semifinals were over, Chris Paul and James Harden had a little clash. And I think there's been breaking news as well, too, saying that Chris Paul demanded a trade from the Rockets after losing to the Warriors in the playoffs. It says that Paul and Harden have a toxic relationship. Paul and Harden didn't talk to each other for 2 straight months during the regular season. Both of them would often go at it with each other during practices. Harden went to management and told them it was either him or Chris Paul after they lost. One has to go. And Paul has tried to reach out to Harden this offseason, but Harden continues to ignore him. And there's been other rumors that Chris Paul has, requested a trade. It's just crazy to think that because last year, if Chris Paul didn't get hurt, I still believe that they would have went to the finals. And knowing that LeBron was the only person on that squad with Cleveland, I think they would have beat them in about 6 games. And then this year, too, I mean, obviously you lost to Golden State, but at the same time, it's Golden State. Like, Jordan was in his prime. There was just certain teams, certain players who were supposed to get to that mountaintop, they just couldn't get there because there was just a better player, better team going up against you. You know what I'm saying? So I wasn't too mad. I mean, I was mad a little bit the fact that KD got hurt, but they went back to their motion offense where the ball really don't stop that much. So I think it's kind of hard for them to. I mean, I think if they started, if KD never played that series and they started from game 1 over to game 7, maybe Houston would have adjusted better. But I just felt like it was kind of too late, and the fact that it was was it 3-2 at that point.
Yeah,
I was like, nah,
done deal.
I don't know what's gonna happen. But it's just crazy. Like, I guess my question is like, who do you side with, and then what do you expect going into the next season? Because honestly, when you think about it, one, I kind of want to side with Chris Paul because even Kobe said it, in the regular season, like the way that James Harden, obviously there's been a lot of injuries. Capella went down for a little bit. Gordon went down for a little bit. Chris Paul was out for a little bit, and they had a couple other injuries down along the way too. But Kobe was saying like, yo, like the way you guys are playing right now, like
Not gonna win championship.
that's not gonna win a championship. You cannot have ISO ball 24/7, wait until the shot clock go to 4 or 5 seconds and pull up on a dumb contested shot. Like that's not gonna work. And basically what they're saying is Chris Paul's like, yo, like let's run a motion offense. James Harden, move without the ball. Like let's be more of a dynamic threat on the offensive end, and that will propel us to be better. Because when you look at their playmakers that they have, Eric Gordon, James Harden, Chris Paul, and Austin Rivers, like they should be able to get a lot of easy looks, but it's just not translating over. And then you have another thing where it's like, obviously Chris Paul is one of those players who wants to be kind of respected on the same level as like a LeBron James type of player, D Wade type of player. But the fact that with James Harden, that was his first time going to conference finals. The fact that James Harden has been an MVP, he's been in the conference finals a couple times without another All-Star and whatnot. Basically, it's just like James Harden has that mindset like, yo, who are you? Like, I know you my boy, but at the end of the day, why am I listening to you? Like, I'm the guy. I'm running the show. I'm one of the faces of the league right now. So it's just kind of crazy just to see how things are falling out if these rumors are true. But, I mean, hopefully it's not true. Hopefully they can figure it out because I think they're a good tandem together, at least from what I saw a little bit this year, and definitely from what I saw last year as well, too. I think, honestly, like, the fact that the Warriors are hurt as well, too,
It's a big reason to go.
I would keep the same core that I have, change up the offense, and y'all can legit get to the finals because we don't know who else the Lakers are going to add right now. We don't know. That's their first year together. We don't know how things are going to mesh together, you know what I'm saying, with the new coaching and everything. But what are your whole thoughts on Chris Paul and the Harden debacle that's going on?
I think it's petty because they're such good players. Like, but if I'm real, a true point guard and somebody that stops the ball a lot of the times, it's not gonna mesh. It's like oil and water.
Yeah.
You know, it's not gonna combine. A lot of times, it's not the way that maybe somebody's accustomed to playing. Even from we could say, all right, Chris Paul wants the ball a little bit more to get stuff developed so he can make the right play, so we can get everybody involved. But rather than give it to James Harden early in the shot clock and watch James Harden dance just to shoot the shot up. After a while, whether it goes in or not, coming down a stretch, that hurts people because they're gonna hone in on James Harden, and if you haven't touched the ball in 10 minutes, it's tough for you as a supporting cast to do that. You know, it's like how you a supporting cast in a movie and you don't have any lines. That's just how it goes. Like, how do you support somebody if you don't have the opportunity to support them? It's not all the way around basketball. So that's kind of what Kobe was saying. Yeah. But with all that being said, if I'm the organization, and those two are demanding trades, or one person has to go or the other has to go, stuff like that. I'm getting rid of Chris Paul. Sadly to say, but James Harden is prolific on offense. He's always going to be a bucket. And to be honest, I'm getting rid of Chris Paul, and I'm getting rid of the staff.
Who?
Coaching staff.
Okay.
Yeah.
So getting rid of basically Mike D'Antoni.
Mike D'Antoni, because we can find a different way to play basketball, and we can, like, not saying that point guard, like, Chris Paul doesn't come down and doesn't. I respect Chris Paul's greatness, but I understand what I have in James Harden, that he could be 40 points a night easily in the regular season that will have us sitting pretty atop the Western Conference. But the coaching and then whatever point guard I can bring in, like if the market is good enough for it, maybe we can get a D-Lo for a little bit less or, something like that. And we'll see what happens. But me walking in and doing the same thing over and over again is not going to work as an organization. Like, we were all in awe when he traded Casey, who's still an amazing coach, to Detroit, or not traded him to Detroit, but he fired Dwayne Casey.
Masai Ujiri.
Yeah. Fired Dwayne Casey, traded DeMar DeRozan. They're champions this year. Mm-hmm. Just as we might have to say, like, all right, let's trade Chris Paul, get rid of Chris Paul, and let's do up with Mike D'Antoni because we clearly can't beat the Warriors. And it was still even a different East because we saw LeBron leave. So we're saying, oh well, it's a different West because the Warriors are injured. You still got to evolve just because the stuff around you might seem like it's getting a little bit less frustrating, or it might be less of a struggle around you, or the playing field. You still have to evolve as who you are, because if you're not evolving, you're getting worse. There's nothing such thing as staying the same. So that's my outlook on it. If I had to be the GM in that spot, I would do those two things.
But it's like, you're the GM, you're Daryl Morey. You always want to improve your team. You're obsessed with trying to get that coveted championship. You signed Chris Paul to a super duper max, so I think he's making damn near 35 to 40 mil a year. Who's gonna get that? Who's gonna snag that contract? What team gonna sign that contract? And Chris Paul's at this point in his career, he wants to win a championship, so he's gonna go to a playoff contending team.
He's not.
Who got that? Who got that money? Who's gonna take that money? We don't know.
Unless the Lakers are trying to clear out that super max to get Chris Paul.
Unless they do that,
which is wild. But
I'm good off that.
I'm good off seeing that too.
But it's like, the only thing I can think of is maybe they do a sign and trade. So basically, how Chris Paul did a sign and trade when he was with the Clippers and went over to Houston. If they do that with like a Jimmy Butler or something, and have Chris Paul go to the Sixers or something like that. That's the best case scenario that I can think of right now. But other
and the
teams,
Sixers, when Jimmy Butler's a way better defender than Chris Paul will ever be.
6'7".
6'7". Yeah.
But it's like, I think they're gonna just have to stay put with what they have. Maybe shot Clint. Nah, I don't know.
No,
I need Clint Capella.
Clint Capella is a rim monster. Yeah, I don't. Nah, bro. They're pretty stuck in their position.
Yeah, they're done so. Shaq said earlier today on First Take, you know what I'm saying, him and Kobe always had beef, but they always respected each other. So, you just got to find a way
to win.
You know what I'm saying? Honestly, all I think it is them putting their ego aside and just changing their whole offense.
Yeah.
That's literally it, bro. Just stop with the ISO ball, bro, and then you'll be good.
I still feel like James Harden can score anywhere he wants to.
Exactly. He just don't want to.
And you can play off the ball, James Harden, or he could play that main ball handler role. It's just a lot of stuff you can do in basketball, It's just put your pride aside and ride.
Drizzy. So, we're going to see what's good with that, bro. So, hopefully y'all figure it out, because I really love watching you guys play for the most part. So, we'll see. Next topic that I want to talk about is Anthony Davis trade to the Lakers. Yeah, boy.
Yeah.
For those of you guys who don't know, Anthony Davis a couple days ago was recently traded to the Lakers upon agreement. And basically, he got traded for Lonzo Ball, Josh Hart, Brandon Ingram, and 3 first-round picks, including the number 4 overall pick
and LeVar Ball
in the 2019 draft. That will be Thursday at 7:00 p.m. Tune into that. But just to break it down even more with those picks, like I said, number 4 pick in the 2019 draft, a top 8 protected pick in 2021. It becomes unprotected in 2022. Unprotected swap in 23, unprotected swap in 25. So shout out to David Griffin and the Pelicans, because we're going to talk about this too after this, who's the real breadwinner. But how you feel about the trade? Just tell me your thoughts on the trade, man. Tell me your thoughts on the trade.
I think it was really good for both teams. I'm excited for the young Pelicans. Hopefully they can put together a
Well,
good.
no, let's talk about Lakers first. How you feel about AD coming to team up with LeBron James?
It's gonna happen eventually. It just
I knew it was. Yeah, I knew. It just became more and more evident that it was going to happen because at this point, like I said earlier on, I've been saying this since the beginning of this show. Like players have the power now, so we've seen the model for Paul George forcing his way out. We've seen the model for Kawhi forcing his way out. Jimmy Butler forcing his way out. Like when you limit the teams you want to go to, you're going to go to basically who you want to go to because a lot of teams are not going to want to have you for a rental unless they have that rare case where you're like a Paul George where we can show you how good our training staff is, show you how the coaching staff is, show you how the standard of living is here, show you how our players are too and how we can compete for a title and how our GM would go above and beyond to try to put the right pieces around you guys to compete.
yeah.
And then like a Kawhi Leonard, handled his health pretty well when he got traded over there. And they won a chip this year as well too. But man, yeah, when you stars have power, bro. So I knew he was gonna go there. If it won't this year, it's gonna be next year. But it's better this year than next year because we don't know what LeBron we're gonna get. As he ages. But yeah, continue. I'm sorry for cutting you off.
Oh, no,
How you
sure.
feel about the trade? How you think they're gonna do this year? Do you think they're gonna sign another free agent?
Just sign another
And
free
all that
agent,
good stuff.
definitely.
So tell me what you tell me your 2 cents.
I think they're gonna start another free agent. I think they need another good free agent. They'll need a shooter, and they'll need a versatile kind of like
3-and-D type player.
3-4 forward piece. Just somebody that's gonna just do the dog work. That's been around enough to do the dog work. I mean, they still have Lance on the squad, like people like that. But I just think they need that extra piece. I don't even want to say big man, but I don't see LeBron posting up for one. I think AD's gonna protect the paint, but who's gonna bang with that second team unit? When they put him in, who knows? Granted, that the West is looking totally different when it comes to that second team unit. I mean,
They got depth in the West.
who's running and ripping with that? Like, so it's gonna be all right. So I'm just trying to go down the line. Like Capella, AD gonna be around the same.
AD's better than every big in the West.
Every big in the West, like clearly. But when it comes to like people coming off the bench, who's doing that matchup? You traded away the dude that was dog. You traded.
Maybe they can get JaVale McGee back.
Yeah,
for cheap.
You could, but I still go back to when Magic Johnson traded dude to the Clippers.
Oh, Zubac. That was stupid.
Who looked like he could be very, very promising.
For 3-4 years too. Magic, what you doing?
I'm not
to
gonna
get who they get? Wagner or
Wagner?
They got Wagner,
and they're looking to sign like Wagner on like some like a minimum or something like that.
Bro.
But back to it. I think it was really good for the Lakers. It just sets the tone for what we knew the team was gonna look like, and we're excited to see what the best basketball player we've seen thus far is gonna do with AD, a superstar, LeBron James. Is he gonna be able to, one, prolong his career with the talent he has around him, and two, keep putting up those same numbers that we've seen him put up? Because LeBron was still averaging about
27, 7, and 7, something like that.
Stupid numbers still at 34.
34.
Yikes.
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't seem like he has any stopping him, but we always say that until we see somebody stop. But praying that for the NBA that LeBron is healthy for a few more years to come. And then going back to the other side of the trade, New Orleans, exciting young team. I mean,
wait, even before we get into that,
Okay.
I got some sense to add to that too.
Okay.
This is gonna be the first time LeBron gets a player in the early stages of his prime. As far as the championship, obviously Golden State is out right now. Houston's in turmoil. Denver's still young. And like you said, with that matchup with Anthony Davis going against another big, you just have that figured out. But I think personally, though, I still think they need more pieces because right now, looking
need
at
more
their
people.
roster, they only have like 5 players. So LeBron James, AD, Morris Wagner, Kyle Kuzma, Isaac Bonga. I don't even know who that is. Isaac Bonga, right? So right now they could get cap space up to $32.5 million, but I think I forgot the way it works. With Anthony Davis getting traded, he has like some trading bonus or something like that. So that shaves us about $4 or $5 million. So for real, they may only have about like $25, $26 million left over. So now that the salary cap's going up and players are getting paid more, it's looking like they may not get another star they're looking for unless that other star takes a sort of a pay cut. But at this point, I feel like LeBron, every time he's won, he's always had that dynamic other like perimeter player that can score. When you have D Wade, you had Kyrie, so now it's gonna be like, what are you gonna do with AD? Like obviously, AD's one of the best players in the NBA, top 5 for real, for real. But
He's a
you
win.
need a whole team. You need depth to win a championship, and I just feel like ideally I would want them to go after another star player. Honestly, I would try to go after Kemba, and I think that just takes away the point guard duties from LeBron James because I feel like as LeBron gets older, he's not going to want to have the ball in his hands the whole time too, and I think he's going to go and result to posting up as well and playing off the ball. But honestly, with the money that they have now, it's looking like they may not get a free agent. So I'll probably try to get a couple of role players to just go along with that squad this year. So maybe you can get like I don't know, maybe you can get a point guard. Maybe you can get Terry Rozier for cheap and then add like a Danny Green or add like a Marcus Hall or something like that, or Rudy Gay or something like that, or Harrison Barnes. But I just have to see how they pan out and what they're going to do. But I think they're definitely going to make the playoffs this year. And I think they were probably going to be like a top 3, maybe top 4 seed in the West. And I think looking at the West right now, if they fill out the roster how I think they should fill it out, West up for grabs right now, but I don't in the playoffs when the game gets slowed down with 80 and Bron, I don't see nobody beating them in the West right now. So I think they should be considered favorites to go to the finals right now.
Same. In the new look West. It's
West.
not the Wild Wild West anymore. It's the
new look West.
It's the disabled veterans West.
Disabled veterans West. So we'll see, man. Obviously, barring health, they should be good to go. So we'll definitely see what they have up their sleeve. So it was kind of good that they kept Kuzma. Now going on to the next topic, Pelicans. I think long term, well, let's go short term. I think short term, Lakers are the winners because they finally made that decision that they want to win now and just add veterans to go along with their 2 stars. And I think long term, the Pelicans are the winners, bro. They are the winners, bro.
Zion coming.
Zion's going to be the number 1 pick. You got your future point guard and Lonzo Ball. Drew Holiday's still there as well, too.
Josh
Harden coming off the bench. Brandon Ingram is going to be tough if he gets the blood clot thing situated. Hopefully he's not like Chris Bosh. Chris Bosh one of the best to do it. But damn, they going to have a squad.
Scary. And
I like Alvin Gentry a lot too. And there's just no more drama with the whole with 80 leaving, so it's a fresh start. And we never really get to see Lonzo play to his peak because he's been injured. I think he had a little meniscus problem, knee problem his first year, then he messed up his ankle next year. So hopefully he can stay healthy. And him and Drew Holiday gonna probably be the best defending backcourt in the NBA.
Yeah, bro. What?
It's gonna be crazy, and I just feel like with Zion coming there, his transition as a rookie is just gonna be even easier since Lonzo makes everyone better too. And then you got Brandon Ingram, who I think if his health is right, he's gonna be one of the. He's gonna prove he has something to prove, and I think he's gonna be an all-star type of player one day too. So
and bro, we're still not talking about how dominant Zion Williamson is.
Yeah,
like he's a freak of nature. Not saying he looks like LeBron because I think LeBron had a more wider range of skills here and there, but we don't know what Zion Williamson is about to do to the league, and it could be a LeBron-esque effect to it. Like he's the first player that's gonna have that kind of making stupid money off his shoe deal.
Yeah.
He'll probably make more money off his shoe deal than he will off his initial NBA contract.
No, that's facts.
Because that's the player that we've seen him to be. Mm-hmm. So it could come in and it might be like greatest scenario, LeBron with other superstars around him. Not superstars, but other like a good team around him when he first gets in the league, like a good team. or it could be like somebody that comes in super athletic that needs to refine his game, but can still give you 10 or 15 points a night. He's definitely going to give you. I think Zion Williamson can account for 10 and 10 easily.
His first year, yeah.
Yeah, his first year.
I see like a 14, 15, and 10. Yeah.
So we don't know. Are they going to have the years on them to really take the West like they should? I don't believe that, but it could get interesting looking at that.
Very, very interesting, man. So, playoffs or no this year?
For the Pelicans, I don't think so. I just thought about something else. Supposedly, Michael Porter's coming back for
Denver.
Nuggets or Nick.
Yeah, he got cleared now. His back's good. So,
and he looked prolific. He looked KD scoring.
Yeah, they compared him to KD.
Supposedly, we got to see that too, but basketball's getting fun again. You know, so
it just gets better and better every year.
Yep.
Yeah, I don't see him making the playoffs this year, but I think this year there definitely should be televised a lot since Zion is the number one pick. So I expect him to be on TV at least once a week. Or
like you pay for that.
I'm gonna stay up for that.
I was.
When you say Showtime, that's gonna be Showtime right there, boy. But yeah, man, we're gonna see how they do. I think they're gonna be like a team like a Sacramento where they may be in playoff contention for a little bit, and relatively their youth is going to catch up to them. But I think it's going to be a very exciting year, and I think Pelicans are in good hands. And there's been rumors that obviously they had the Lakers' fourth pick. They're trying to potentially trade that fourth pick to get a player like a Bradley Beal or something like that.
Bradley Beal would be hot.
So if they get Bradley Beal, so they'll probably trade Drew Holiday if they get Bradley Beal with that fourth pick, and then have Lonzo be the starter. That could be him. That could be a tough team. That could be a very tough team. Only thing I'm not too. I don't know like who's their big right now.
They're
like,
big.
Jaleel Okafor is their backup. Like I don't even know who their big is right now. I can't think of it right now. But that's basically like the only spot that they have to cover. And I feel like you can find someone just get your rebounds, set your screens, get you easy putbacks. So that you can find it in the NBA. So Pelicans are gonna be good, man. Definitely gonna be good. Next topic I want to talk about is Danny Ainge, man. Straight poo. Straight poo. Danny Ainge missed out on getting Kawhi Leonard last year. All they wanted was Jaylen Brown and I think 1 or 2 first-round picks. He's about to lose Kyrie. He swore he's going to go after AD for a couple years. Lost to the Lakers by not getting AD as well too. And he may lose Al Horford now because Al Horford wants to seek 3-4 year deal elsewhere right now. So my question for you is, do you think that the Celtics are going to take a huge step back? Just give me your thoughts on that.
Yeah, just out of sheer principle, you're losing Kyrie Irving, you're losing Terry Rozier's probably going to go get a deal from somewhere if you can. Al Horford is Al Horford is how old? About
probably 30,
30?
31.
He wants that right off into the sunset of his career deal. You're taking a step back. Again, the East, the Beast Coast, like, come on now. Like, it's not getting any easier over there. Like, we talk about the West, but now with per se Kawhi staying, that's a done deal. That's sealed and mailed already. So they're gonna definitely take a step back. And with that team in shambles like it is, again, Depot, I keep harping on Depot, and maybe I'll get proved wrong when we see the season, and maybe it won't happen. But Depot and the Pacers took LeBron James to 7 games when he won the East. So I think Depot is going to be a reemergence. I think the Celtics are going to take a back seat to a few teams next year. We'll see what happens. Maybe
but without Kyrie, numbers don't lie. They do play better. So if they retain Jason Tatum, if they happen to keep Al Horford, Jason Tatum, and Jaylen Brown get better, that's less drama to worry about. And they could be.
They have to retain their point guard too.
They have to retain Rozier, at least.
I think he will stay if Kyrie leaves. I think he will stay.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, we'll see.
I still think they're gonna take a back seat though. That's doubt.
And then we don't know what's gonna happen with Jimmy Butler, Tobias Harris. So there's a lot of things that can happen too. And the Nets, is D'Angelo Russell gonna stay? Is he gonna go elsewhere? Is he going to pair alongside Kyrie? Is Kyrie going to go? So it's just a lot of things to think about.
Yeah, and then big news that the Bulls are trying to shake it up. They're trying to go for like Darius Garland, and they're trying to go get somebody else too. I think the Bulls being not even a contender, but being an emerging team again makes for a fun league again.
I just Knicks to make for a fun league.
The Knicks don't know what the hell they're doing. I give it 2 or 3 years, and I think it's up for grabs for anybody because I think 2 or 3 years from now the Warriors are gonna be kind of out of question.
Out of sight, out of mind.
In a way, LeBron, he wants to play till he's 40, but he might not be as much of a factor. They'll probably get one more superstar in there. Just the perennial powers that we've known in our young adult life will be gone, and it'll be a new era of basketball. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, definitely see what happens, man. Fortunately, we cut short on time. So next episode, I will incorporate the NBA draft. That's supposed to take place Thursday, June 20th at 7 p.m. Eastern time. I'll give you my analysis on who I think, were the top picks there, who were the sleepers and whatnot, and all that good stuff as well, too. But Trey, man, first ever, time for the Seezus show going to video, episode 53. Any last words you have to say, man?
Shout out to all my high school graduates out there. Definitely 757 area. Shout out, shout out Michael Brown. Shout out Trayvon Williamson. Shout out Chase, Three Wise, Maya, all that stuff like that. Shout out to my youngins, yo. Be great. Continue to do everything that you guys set out to do. Love you guys. Can't wait to see everything that you achieve. Bet.
Yes, always aspire to aspire before you expire. Yeah, you guys, I will have this video up. You can access that to Sir Seezus TV on YouTube. Obviously, I'm always going to be podcast ready, so available on Spotify, SoundCloud, iTunes podcasts. Got my own website, Sir Seezus, theseezusshow.com. You can follow me on all forms of social media at Sir Seezus, SIRSEEZUS, and also at The Seezus Show as well, too. Got clothing in there, so definitely check all that good stuff out. Always delivering you some hot topics, latest topics, anything in NBA. I got you with that. And yeah, definitely make sure to follow my boy Trey. Can you tell him your handle?
Shout out to Trey at Trey Day all day. No, is it Trey Day? It's Trey Day XXIV. TREDAY XXIV on everything.
On everything. And then we got Ziggy Gobain right here. If you heard some little chirping in the background, that's him trying to eat, being greedy and whatnot. But yeah, ladies and gentlemen, thank you guys for listening and watching another stellar episode of the Seezus Show. Definitely check us out, and we look forward to seeing you another time. We out.
Peace.